The Chicago Bears, are they going to win their first game in 12 attempts? They're going into Tampa Bay. They're playing the Bucks. We're going to talk about that, plus Tennessee and LA, the New York Giants and Arizona, and a whole lot more. Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. Bryan Power joining us. Bryan the Bangs Power, how are you, my friend?
Just want to give you a little break there from speaking, Prez. Seems like the cat's got your tongue there a little bit, but I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure to be here with you and you as well, Teddy.
I appreciate that. Let's get into some football. You wanted to break down the Bears and the Bucks NFL action on Sunday. Let's look right now at the Wager Talk Live odds screen. There were threes out there. They're pretty much gone now. I'm seeing 2.5s for Tampa Bay. The money, at least off the opener, the money came to Tampa to push it up to 3. Now we're seeing some buyback on Chicago down to 2.5. Total sitting at 41 in this game. How do you break it down? Bears and the Bucks, two teams that not a lot is expected from in 2023, but one of these two teams is going to get a win and cover here. Who's it going to be, Bryan?
Yeah, let's go back a few months, guys. If you recall, midsummer, I came on this program and I said I was going to take the Bucks plus 6.5 against the Vikings. Said the number would drop before kickoff. Certainly did. And wouldn't you know, the Bucks got the outright win in week 1. Nice 4% win for me and my clients, part of a 3-0 Sunday sweep. Now, in my analysis for that game, I mentioned how I was going to be very interested, especially early on, in playing Tampa Bay as an underdog. They did very poorly against the spread last year, but they were rarely big underdogs. Well, guess what? As you just mentioned, Teddy, they are a favorite this week now, Tampa Bay. And as happy as I was to see them win outright last week, not sure the Bucs deserved it. They're outgained 369 to 242 by the Vikings. Yards per play differential, pretty massive, 5.9 to 3.6. That was the largest negative yards per play differential for any winning team in week 1. The key in the game, anyone who watched it knows, Minnesota turned it over twice deep in Tampa territory, a fumble and a Kirk Cousins interception. I salute Todd Bowles for being aggressive on 4th down late in the game, gets a key conversion. But I am not sure I was very impressed with Baker Mayfield, even in a winning effort. You know, this is a guy who's been on, 4 teams in the last 14 months. There's a reason for that. He's just 3-10 straight up, by the way, in his career, following a win, following an outright win as a dog. So that's the Bucs. As for the Bears, we have to try to say something positive here. I think it's safe to say they're probably not going to improve as much as some people thought they would. The offensive line is still bad. The defense is still bad. Teams lost 11 in a row, as Prez mentioned at the top. But it is worth noting, on the look-ahead line, odds makers had the Bears favored for this game. They were favored last week against the Packers. Obviously, a bad line. I don't think the game was as lopsided as that final score indicated, though. Every day on the Power 5, exclusively right here on Wager Talk TV, I talk about buy low and sell high spots. This is a classic one in my view. It's not officially on my card because I want to see if a +3 pops back up. But to me, Teddy, the Bears, despite that losing streak, are the side to take in this one. I am selling high on Tampa Bay as a favorite.
We have to talk about the losing streak. Because here's a team that is the last game they won was last October 24th on Monday Night Football in New England against the Patriots. They blew them out. So it's been a while for Chicago since they have a W when you haven't had one since last October. And this is a point spread range where clearly, if you're asking them to cover, you're probably asking them to win. They found ways to lose every game. Why is this game different?
Okay, obviously going back to my analysis, this was clearly more of a sell on Tampa Bay than it is a buy on Chicago. The analysis on the Tampa Bay portion was a lot more lengthy, right? I'll add this in, though. Teams off a double-digit loss in week 1 since 2014 have come back to cover 63% of the time in week 2. It's a situational bet with Chicago. I completely agree with everybody who, might be saying, oh my God, not Chicago. There's not a lot of positives there, but it's sell on Tampa and it's situational on Chicago. I just think the Bears plus the points is a nice value here. And hopefully Bryan, they get that straight up.
The streak can continue. Tampa Bay 17-16, you get your cover. I feel like that's a reasonable score in this game. Although 16 points is a big ask for Chicago, so let's go down to more 7-6 ending in this game, and clearly I like the under. Bryan Power joining us, everybody. We got a great show, guys. Brian's going to look at Miami, Ohio versus Cincinnati. Jimmy Adams, our number one NFL expert from last year, with a 3-0 start. He's going to look at the Titans and Chargers, and Washington against Michigan State. Carmine Bianco, who would, by the way, Bri, do anything to have bangs. He's going to look at the New York Giants against Arizona, and he's got a prop bet for you on the Raiders and the Bills. Bri, before we go back to you, I just want to make a mention, couple of things. Bet on it. People put in the chat room yesterday, put up on the show, when is Bet on it coming on? Today I logged on live into the chat room on this show. One of the first questions is, when is Bet on it coming on? So, Bet on it will be up tonight. We're aiming for around 5 p.m. Eastern. However, I want to make mention, Kelly had a rough day yesterday. Bet on it had to be moved. Her beautiful dog, Coco, has come to an end, or is about to. She's distraught, and I understand. I have a dog, and I get it. Teddy has a dog, and he gets it. It would be the equivalent of cutting Brian's bangs off for him. He gets it. So please be patient, and lots of love, Kelly. We've all been there, and we feel for you. Bryan Power, Miami, Ohio, plus 14 versus Cincinnati. How do we bet this game?
Just imagine if I showed up bald on the show next week, Prez. What would you do? It'd be incredible. But let's talk about Miami, Ohio. Oh, okay. There you go. Let's talk about Miami, Ohio, Cincinnati. Probably a game that not a lot of people have focused in on this week. We talked about situational handicapping with the NFL play just a moment ago. This is very similar for me to the situation that I had last week, a 4% winner with Rice. The team Rice was playing was Houston, who was coming off an outright win against UTSA and had its Big 12 opener on deck against last year's national runner-up TCU. Same thing here with Cincinnati. Last week, they go to Pitt, pull an outright upset. What does Cincy have on deck next week? Big 12 opener against whom? At home versus Oklahoma. With Houston and Cincinnati, one of the reasons I'm so big on the look ahead to the conference opener is, remember, these teams switch conferences this year, guys. These are really big games for them in their new conference. Now, where Miami, Ohio is similar to Rice is that we've got local rivalries where we're taking the quote-unquote like little brother, okay? Certainly this game matters more to Miami of Ohio than it does to Cincinnati. Miami of Ohio has lost 16 straight times to Cincinnati. And this year, I don't think there's any question. Cincinnati's weaker than they've been the last couple of years. And I think Miami of Ohio, despite what they showed against Miami of Florida, who, oh, by the way, might turn into be a pretty good football team, they're better than what they showed in week one. This was only a 7-point game at the half last year between Miami of Ohio and Cincinnati. Even with the spread down to 2 touchdowns for Saturday, I think we're still getting a nice value on the dog. I think Miami's got the better signal caller with Gabbert. Jones for Cincinnati last week had just 125 yards passing, even in a close game. So, again, very similar to Rice against Houston last week. Give me the smaller school who cares more about this as a rivalry game, getting points, Miami of Ohio, plus 14. Earlier in the week on the College Football Show, I said this might be on my card. I'm here to tell you on Thursday, it is on my card. This is a 4% play.
So Cincinnati was a team that in the offseason, a lot of people crashed their power rating. I know I did. Talking about, look, this is a Bearcats team. You know, that Luke Fickell's gone and everything they've had in recent years is gone, and Cincinnati's not what they were. And so far, the Bearcats have opened up the season covering by double digits and covering by double digits in their first 2 games, including an outright upset last time out. So they haven't just been better than the markets thought. They've been way better than the markets thought. Does that concern you?
Yeah, Bri, does it? The way he
I'm
said
so
that,
concerned.
Bri. The way he said that.
I'm so concerned.
He's like, blah, 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 blah.
Look,
does that concern you?
Look,
does it?
I think What do we talk about? And I'm sure you guys have mentioned it several times yourselves over the course of the week with the NFL and college last week. You have to be careful about not overreacting to just one or two results, right? If you downgraded Cincinnati in the offseason, there's probably something to that. Like I said, I don't think Cincinnati's as good as they were the last couple of years. Yes, they pulled an outright upset at Pitt, give them credit, but the other win was against an FCS team, so I don't think there's a ton of stock there. Again, I just think it's all about the situation here. Cincinnati, those players have got to be thinking about Oklahoma next week at home. Miami of Ohio, they are focused on this game. They know they're better than what they showed against Miami of Florida. I think 2 touchdowns is generous, Teddy. They don't need to win the game. Just stay within 14 points. I'd play it down to 12.
Bryan Power, everyone. Jesus Cortez asks, he needs the Power 5 video. It's his favorite show. I thought you put those up all the time.
They do. And well, the NFL version is currently in production and will be up probably within the hour. So there you go.
There you go, Jesus. It's coming, baby. It's coming. Bri, 8-1 all sports run. Perfect start on Sunday to the NFL season. Congratulations. What do you have to promote?
Yeah, for Thursday night, we're looking to keep this NFL run going. We had the 3-0 sweep on Sunday. Played it, interestingly, on Monday. We did a teaser with the Jets and under, so there wasn't a lot of sweating at the end like I know there was for a lot of people. 4% best bet on Vikings-Eagles. Got a little creative with this one, Prez. I was talking to you before the show. Very confident this one's going to cash. I would implore people to get down right now before the number moves because I think I've got a good number. And here's to hopefully we make it 5 in a row in the NFL Thursday night.
Well, we did talk about your play. It has been sealed with the presidential approval, so good luck tonight. Gooseballs writes such a great comment in the chat room. Prez, you're such a funny, handsome man. And that's the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Teddy covers. What did we learn? Oh, wait. Let's ask for some likes, Teddy. I'll go first.
Okay.
Guys, please hit that like button. It's much appreciated. Teddy, your turn.
Guys, please hit that like button. It's much appreciated. How's that?
Okay. There you go. Teddy's creativity and originality shone through, whatever the hell the word is. What did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
So I want to talk about Thursday/Friday night football. And for me, it's going to start with the opening Saturday of college football. I split the opening Saturday. I won my big bet, small prop for the day. Split again last week in college. Nothing good, but no harm, no foul. NFL Sunday, 2-1. Won again Monday night, 3-1. But I keep getting my ass kicked on Thursday and Friday night. I had the Chiefs-Lions over. That was wrong. I had Illinois against Kansas. That was wrong. The week before, I had UConn-NC State over. That was wrong, too. So I'm staring at the card. You know, there's one NFL game, one college game tonight, 3 college games tomorrow. And I'm thinking, pass until proven otherwise. And then the line starts to move, and the injury report stands out. And guess what? I'm in NFL action tonight. There's nothing wrong with passing either. Waiting till Saturday's college football slate or Sunday's NFL slate to get your weekend going. But there's also room for flexibility. When you see something, your initial reaction is maybe a pass, and then all of a sudden you get some new information or the line changes. You can be flexible and go, yeah, well, I'm not forcing this. I'm playing this because it's a good play. Bottom line, don't force anything. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, doesn't matter what day of the week is. Don't force bets. And be flexible. And these are lessons I've learned before. You probably have too, but it's important to remember. That's what I learned last night, Lawrence. Back to you.
Yeah, Teddy, well said. And, for me, I was planning on passing on this game tonight as well. I ended up getting some information on a single prop bet that I did put out for my clients. But side and total wise, I'm not touching this game. Although I do, if you do buy my prop bet, which is only $9 over at WagerTalk, you do get an analysis on that game in full and a lean in one direction or the other. Teddy, we got a promo here, and the greatest thing about it is it's free. Free to everyone. No coupon code.
What?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. No coupon code, no money required. The gold sheet, which is spectacular. spectacular. The oldest sports betting publication in the world, older than Teddy and I, older than Teddy and Andrew McGinnis combined. The Gold Sheet. Use the promo code. It's not older than Teddy and Andrew McGinnis combined. It's pretty close, dude. It was like in the mid 50s. Okay.
We're getting older now. Both me and
we are getting older. Use the username WT free, password WT free. The Gold Sheet cordially invites you to check out their NFL Week 2, NCAAF Week 3 edition for free. Free. So take 2 seconds, head over there, use those promo codes, check it out. It is worth it. It is spectacular. Teddy uses it. I use it. Everybody reads it at Wager Talk. It's, well, gold. Teddy?
Sure. Over there, where would they find this publication, the Gold Sheet? Would that be at wagertalk.com, Lawrence? Would that be at goldsheet.com? Where do we go for this?
You could go to either Wager Talk or Gold Sheet, but the best way to do it is to just visit wt.buzz/GS. That's wt.buzz/GS. Take advantage of it, guys. And take advantage of Jimmy Adams, because when he comes on the show, he gives out great information. Jimbo, what up, bro? Jimmy, going into this season, the number one NFL handicapper from last year, and not only that, but a spectacular year. I've been there. Teddy's been there. It's incredible pressure, at least internally. Can I do it again? I got to get off to a good start. Everybody's counting on me. I made a ton of sales. I have a lot of clients. Mic drop, bitches. 3-0. Well, you handled that pressure well, man. It's like the Justin Tucker of sports handicapping.
Thank you very much, Prez. Now, there is an asterisk because I did go 3-1. I had a 3-0 Sunday, but I dropped the Monday nighter. Josh Allen beat the Bills. He apologized for it, but it didn't help my bankroll. So we still made a lot of money, but I'm not perfect on the season. Full disclaimer.
Okay, well, there you go. I a full disclaimer, I didn't look at how you did Monday, but I did look on how you did Sunday, because as one of the owners of the site, it's damn important that you did well. So thank you, brother. Okay, Teddy took apart the Titans and Chargers game yesterday in his big game breakdown. You want to talk about that as well. Interesting game. You know, Carmine wanted to talk about that game too this morning. I had to call both of you and say, which one of you are not going to talk about it? You held firm. So tell us who's going to win this game. Cover.
Well, I've been really high on the Titans. Yeah, look, I've been really high on the Titans. I gave out their season win total over on this show earlier. We bet them last week and cashed with them as they took a tough 1-point loss, but covered as dogs to the NFC South favorite Saints. Interesting to see this number not moving through the key number of 3 like we've seen in other games, such as the Chiefs and the Jags. Maybe the Sharps are giving this Tennessee squad some respect, or maybe it's because the Dolphins threw for 466 yards against the Chargers week 1 as they lost at home. Now, I can't defend 3 interceptions from Ryan Tannehill, but he does face a much weaker defense this week, one that just gave up 36 points. So a chance for him to maybe flip the script here, because what teams are going to do is they're just going to stack the box and make Tannehill beat him. He's going to have to make some throws. I am, however, proud of the defense that had 4 sacks and held the Saints to just 2.6 yards per rush, 69 total in the game. So it's really pretty simple. If you think the Chargers are just going to carve up the defense and score a ton of points, okay. But if you're like me and you think this Tennessee team remains undervalued, came into the season undervalued, they can control the clock, play solid defense, and limit turnovers, then this is a pretty enticing home dog to put in your pocket for week 2. That's the way I'm leaning. Give me Tennessee plus the points.
So you talked about what Miami did against LA's defense last week. And Miami, certainly the passing game was mind-boggling at times. The completions that Tua was able to connect with downfield. You really think that Tennessee's capable of doing any of that? Because I don't see any downfield passing from Tennessee right now. I don't think that anything that Miami did, Tennessee's capable of doing, which makes me concerned about the Titans side. I like the under in the game. That's what I talked about in Big Game Breakdown yesterday. But side-wise, can the Titans really move the football here? Can they? You said the Chargers defense got lit up. I don't think the Chargers defense is a weak unit. Do you?
They're certainly weaker than the Saints, in my opinion, and remains to be seen. What did they finish 21st a year ago? I don't know. But so very different game plan, though, Teddy. Control the clock, give the ball to Derrick Henry, have Treylon Burks step up. We'll see DeAndre Hopkins listed as questionable. We got Austin Eckler, who didn't practice, so that's a question mark for the Chargers. But very different game plan. It's all about controlling the clock, so I like your under, and the market does as well. But I also think that the lack of a line move is very telling as well. Why aren't Sharps just driving this line up? I do think Tennessee can score on the Chargers, and I think the Chargers are going to have a tough time scoring on Tennessee. So I like the under as well. Nice, enticing home dog. I'm always looking for home dogs on the card, so this is probably my favorite.
Jimmy Adams, everybody. And Jimmy, the only thing I disagree with you is that the Chargers can score on anybody, and they will score on Tennessee. That doesn't mean Tennessee won't score too. I mean, Derrick Henry does set up that play action pass, but I do like how you handled Teddy's question. Speaking of which, Jimmy, I want to read something to you guys. It's specific to Carm, but I want your opinion here. So Teddy comes in. So Carm writes last night, Teddy, I'm not going to put my plays up until right before game time so that you can't come up with a follow-up question to trick me or mess me up. Then Teddy writes, a follow-up question is a chance to make you look good. And the reason I say that, by the way, Teddy, that's so kind of you, is you looked awesome, Jimbo. Well done. You handled Teddy excellently.
Thank you.
Okay, brother. Washington against Michigan State, some college football, minus 16. What are we doing in this game?
All right, so this is a terrible spot for Michigan State with everything going on in the program. Everyone knows what's going on. Mel Tucker almost certainly going to be fired, and it could have a real ripple effect within the program. Remember, players can still redshirt and transfer if they choose to do so. Maybe other schools come in and offer them some money. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but this could have a real impact. It'll be interesting to see which way it goes. We really don't know how good this Sparty team is. They've beaten Central Michigan and Richmond so far, but they were a 5-win team a season ago. Their preseason win total was set at 5.5, so I'm guessing they're not very good. What we do know is this Washington offense is one of the best in the country and will not be stopped. UW opened as a 2-touchdown favorite against what was supposed to be the best team in the Mountain West, Boise State. Yeah, the result of that game was 56-19. The offense enters third in the nation in yards per game, fourth in points per game. Michael Penix Jr. right up there with the favorites to win the Heisman. And I just have absolutely no faith that Sparty's going to be able to stick around here. Way too many distractions going on against a Husky squad that is proving that they are really no joke. The Pac-12 is going out strong, right up there with USC. I think Washington absolutely blows out Sparty. Give me the Huskies.
So when you talk about the scenario where the coach gets suspended or the coach gets fired, sometimes you see a team collapse. Sometimes you see a team come together. Looking at some of the quotes out of East Lansing this week, it feels like the knee-jerk reaction, everyone's, oh, Michigan State's going to collapse. Michigan State's going to collapse. Oh, Michigan State. And reading the quotes out of East Lansing, and again, talk is talk, play is play. But the quotes, to me, sound like Michigan State is focused, looking to avenge a team they lost to in Washington last year by only 11 points. So they hung around. It wasn't a good game for Sparty. They gave up 39. But in this point spread range, they would still cover that. Now they get them at home, and it didn't, again, just what I was reading, it didn't sound like a team that's about to implode. What's your thoughts? Is this Do you have info that Michigan State, there's an implosion coming, or is this just the thought process, hey, the coach is gone and that's that?
No, so I'm glad you brought that up, though, Teddy, because one or two big things here. This is not a situation. The team can try and rally, but this is not like a Jim Harbaugh situation where it's free Harbaugh. What this coach was accused of is not something you can really rally around your coach for. He was accused of something terrible. So I don't think they're going to be focused. And my second point is I like this game even if this hadn't happened. Michigan State is not a good team. Washington quickly proving they're one of the best teams in the country. So the coaching angle factors in, but I would still play this regardless, Teddy.
Jimmy Adams joining us, everyone. At Jimmy Adams Vegas is his Twitter or X handle. Great follow. One of the best. We're lucky to have you. Killed it last year in NFL. Started this year 3-1. What do you have to promote?
Yeah, 3-1 start in the NFL, guys. As Prez mentioned, we are in action in the NFL tonight. We're in MLB action, and I've got a big college football play going down tomorrow that'll be posted in about an hour. Grab it all, wt.buzz/JA. Thanks for having me. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Jimmy Adams, everyone. Jimmy Roger wants to know, is it 420 yet? I think it's 420 for Jimmy right now.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Too much work to do, Roger. 420 is on hold until 420. Teddy covers. Quick reminder to everyone, take advantage of that Gold Sheet offer. Free Gold Sheet this week, both college football and NFL. Head over to the Gold Sheet or WagerTalk. Use the promo code, username and password WT free. Teddy, we've got your big game breakdown. We have the betting strategy question, which is about power rankings, and of course the great Carmine Bianco with a teaser record that is at a level that, well, only maybe Margot Robbie could understand. What's your big game breakdown?
Margot Robbie. That's not a reference.
Are you going to say who's Margot Robbie? Are you now? Are we? Is this show going off the rails because you didn't know who Triple H was and now you don't know who Margot Robbie is?
I've heard the name, but I have no face to it. Time for a big game breakdown. True. No face to it at all. Come on. Big game breakdown time. Let's talk college football Saturday. We're breaking down Colorado every week on this show. Let's do it again today. Colorado State. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. I'm seeing the Buffs 23. I'm seeing 23.5 popping up, 24s popping up. Total, let's call it 61. There's a little bit of variance there as well. Last week, I had Colorado against Nebraska. Easy win, right? Yes and no. Colorado ends up winning 36-14. But make no mistake about it. Nebraska could have controlled that game early. Colorado came out flat as a pancake, but Nebraska wasn't good enough. In the second half, Colorado got hot, made plays, blew them out. So they do have, with that one win against Nebraska by 22 points, and the week one win against TCU by 3 points, well, between them, they've won the game by 25 points if you add them together. They have to win this one by only 24. When we look at spots, and we talked about spots a couple of times on WagerTalk today, this one stands out. Upset over top 25 TCU week one. Huge game. They point all summer to it. Huge TV game last week against Nebraska. In week two, they win that one. Little brother game against Colorado State in week three. And remember, this team isn't from Colorado. They're all transferred in. Huge TV game next week. Conference opener at number 13, Oregon. Which game do you think is a flat spot? Plus 21, minus 2.5, now minus 23. Those are very, very, very different roles. The markets don't know how to price Colorado, flat out. How good are they? Nobody knows. Some people have bumped them 10 points at the start of the season. Some people have bumped them 20. People have bumped them 12. The markets don't know what the right answer for Colorado is. Flat out. This is what I know. Colorado State's hard to back. They were totally outclassed by Washington State in the opener. They couldn't compete. We like Jay Norvell, but it's rebuilding time. The offensive line's completely rebuilt. That being said, we have one team that is clearly in a flat spot. The other team clearly has had 2 weeks to prepare for this off a bye. Many of these guys are Colorado kids with something to prove. It is a motivational mismatch with matters in college. I'm not confident in my Colorado pricing, but I'm confident that this is too many points for the Buff to be laying this week. Backed them last week, fading them this week. Client play, take Colorado State plus the points. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, if you miss this play, which is just a free play that you give out, well, we're going to get lambasted next week, which is exciting because that means more comments in the comments section. And that's all we care about. Speaking of the comments section, Teddy and I were talking about this earlier. The Canadian Football League, one time in history, a team from the CFL played a team from the NFL. One time, they beat the NFL team. Teddy asked me when it was. The show just started. I didn't have a chance to Google it. I'm asking you listeners, when was that game? Let us know. Teddy, it's time for our betting strategy segment. BS with Teddy and the Prez. Dan, put that question up. So this question was asked by the official Gem Class podcast. Gem Class. I'm interested. That's an interesting name. Anyway, when you guys are setting your power rankings, what is your standard criteria that you begin with? Teddy, this is all yours.
Sure. There were 6 games held in Canada between 1950 and 1961. They pitted NFL teams against Canadian Football League or their precursor teams. They were a hybrid of American and Canadian football. At least that's what Wikipedia says. I have no idea if that's true.
You're gonna answer the BS question, please, because we're like let's just start it again. This is supposed to be chopped up and put on Twitter. Your answer was not put in the right spot. And for the record, 1961, Hamilton 38, Buffalo 21. Now let's go through the BS segment. Stay focused.
Buffalo was not an NFL team in 1961.
Stop thinking about Margot Robbie.
Buffalo was not an NFL. Buffalo was an AF.
I don't care. Focus. Dan, now put the question back up. Let's try it again. Stay on point.
So
I'm the guy that goes off.
It's an excellent question. Thank you, Gem Class Podcast. When we're setting your power rankings, this is how you begin. You copy somebody else's. That's how you start. All right. That's how I started making power. And by the way, power ratings. Power rankings, you're just ranking the teams 1 through 32. Power ratings is putting a mathematical number by each team. So you have a distribution that looks more like a bell curve as to how the teams are actually distributed throughout the course of the league. When I first started making power ratings, I found 3 sources that I trusted, and I normalized them and copied them, and that was my starting point. I would recommend you do the same. Lawrence?
Well, there you go. Pretty much I did the same, and I used Teddy. So that was a long time. That was when you didn't have all gray hair. Anyway, Carmine Bianco joining us. Carm, you want to talk to that CFL NFL as you were the one that put it in, and Teddy seems to be all geschmoodled over it.
No, I just Googled it, and it just said the last time Canadian CFL team played a team from the U.S., it was Hamilton versus Buffalo. So, but Teddy is right. They weren't an NFL team at the time.
Okay.
But that's the last recorded score.
Okay, well, I don't even know how we got into this topic because I could care less, and everybody knows my opinion about the CFL. Oh, yeah.
That's how we got into the topic, Lawrence. You brought it up.
I'm a bad man.
But I do want to say something. I do want to interrupt because you actually made me look bad, Prez, by saying I waited till the last minute to post that message. I actually posted last night that I would post my games early AM, but to give Teddy a little less time to give me one of his tough follow-up questions. It was mainly because I was watching a movie last night with the wife. We watched.
Which movie?
You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen
good.
it. And no nepotism in that movie. Carm, I didn't mean to make you look bad. I meant to. Okay, I made you. Okay, well, okay, I messed. Okay, whatever. I love you. Everyone knows I love you. Can we get into some football talk? New York Giants -5.5 against Arizona. Money has come in on the Giants. First, we had it at 4.5. Then it was bet down to 4. Now it's up to 5.5. I want so badly to take the Giants in Survivor this week, but I don't have the balls. I was going to say the Bills because that's likely my Survivor pick. Tell us who will beat. Tell us who will cover in this game.
I don't think you should take the Bills, but that's a different story. We can talk offline. Listen, nobody wanted to talk about this game throughout the week, but this is one of those ones. Nobody wanted to touch this game during the week, but you look at it. Listen, the Giants came unhinged in that game. 2 turnovers early on for that team that resulted in touchdowns, a blocked field goal attempt. And they were effectively done by halftime in that game. Daniel Jones isn't a quarterback who is going to lead you back from a 26-0 halftime deficit. That game was effectively done. Brian Dable came out and said, we played so bad on both sides of the ball. It's a tough one. There's no excuses. But this is a team, you look at adversity, and maybe this is a little bit of adversity. They didn't have it last year. They opened up 6-1 last season. They had, they were 4-4 on the road last year. Their 4 losses were against playoff-bound teams. This Arizona team is not a playoff-bound team. I expect them to rebound, and you're laying 5.5 here. You look at Arizona. That was a close game last week, but that had more to do with the ineptitude of that Washington offense. That Sam Howell fumble at his 12-yard line when he was sacked, the only touchdown Arizona produced in that game, to go along with 3 field goals. And then you look at Joshua Dobbs, who was the Arizona's QB. 21 of 30 sounds good, but 132 yards passing. They had a conservative game plan as far as his passing, protect them. And it's mainly because I think the Giants' defensive front line can do an equally as good job as Washington did when they essentially took that game over in the second half. Giants' rebound here, I think, is a great play. It would be better at that 4 number, but at 5.5, I still like the Giants here. I think it's the only play you can have in this game.
So this is a fairly unique situation line move. This line has just moved again. All right. It started with the Giants -5, -5.5. We saw initial Arizona money down to 4. Then we saw the Giants get back up to 5, 5.5. And now some group has come back and taken Arizona right back down to 4, 4.5 again. There are 2 groups battling it out over this game midweek to see where this line is going to hold. It really is interesting, and it just happened.
It is, Teddy, but I want to be on that group. Sorry to interrupt you. I want to be on that group that is on the Giants. It's funny because the number stuck in the middle of those 2 is the 5, and we always used to talk about whether 5 is a dead number or not. I think with moving back the extra point, do you believe 5 is a dead number? I have a question for you on that, because I don't think it's a dead number.
I would rather lay 4.5 and take 5.5 in general, but I'm not going to not make a bet because I missed a 5 and I have to take the 4.5.
Right.
So, like I would with the 3 or a 7 potentially. That's
said,
my
Teddy.
take there.
That was my follow-up question for Teddy. See, I'm always able to get one from Teddy.
Double reverse the Theodore. Carm, you got a prop bet for us on the Raiders and Buffalo. And then you know what? We're going to talk Survivor. On air, all 3 of us together. Give us your prop bet. No follow-up, Teddy. We'll go straight into our Survivor chat.
All right. So I'm looking at the Bills and Raiders game. Listen, Josh Allen was I watched that game. I've watched every Bills game for the last few years, being a Bills fan, and I could see it in Josh's eyes on the sidelines, even in the second quarter. You just looked at him, and he did not look like he had any confidence that he could do anything against that Jets defense. I get it. The Bills have tried this season to balance their running and passing game, but the pressure is on. It's clearly on the Bills here and their offensive coordinator to get a win and get a big win. And I'm not sure if they're going to do it or not. But you look at his numbers. His total passing yards for this game is 254. and a half. He's had numbers over that the last 3 seasons. He's averaged 259.2 or more, including 273.9 last season at home. But even better, through the first 4 games of last season, he averaged 306.8 yards passing per game. Do they get away from the run? No, they're still going to try and establish the run, but they've got to get Josh Allen back there passing in order. That's their key to winning this year. I'm not as high on the Bills after that performance. I just didn't like the way the team, and a lot of teams came out flat in week 1. But I didn't expect that from the Bills, even though the Jets do have a very good defense. I think this is a great spot for him to come out and get over that number. So 254 and a half over that passing yards is the prop that I played in this game.
Hey, Carm, if you counted his interceptions last week, he went over that number as well. And Ken Dorsey is their offensive coordinator, and I think he's a moron. You've got the Jets down. They're playing Zach. They can't move the ball. And you go for 2 long bombs for absolutely no reason. But anyway, Carm, let's talk Survivor. We have 4 minutes left in the show. You know, Philadelphia goes tonight. I'm not touching them. We got the Circa Survivor has got that Thanksgiving situation and the Christmas Day situation. I feel like you need to keep Philly. I feel like you need to keep Dallas. And I feel like you need to keep San Fran. So if you move those 3 teams aside, I think it comes down to the Bills or the Giants. I don't have the balls to bet the Giants. The problem with the Bills is Jimmy G has got a 72% win percentage as a starter in this league. And I'm going to bet into that. I'm still looking at the Bills. Carm, you first. Teddy, I'd love your thoughts.
Well, you got to remember those wins came with San Francisco and that very good defense that they had. He had to do the bare minimum. How good is the Raiders' defense? We'll have to see. And it's a good indication of this weekend. But to your point, and I just want to go through this really quickly for those of you who are in survivor pools, the Circa one is completely different. Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday are one separate week. So you got the Packers, Lions, Cowboys, Washington, 49ers, Seattle, and then Black Friday, Dolphins and Jets. You've got to save or come up with an idea of 2 of these teams playing that you're going to take a stance. I'm going to take these teams, and you save those. You look at Christmas, only 3 games, a separate week in Survivor again. And you got the Raiders, Chiefs, Giants, Eagles, Ravens, 49ers. So super tough because not only do you have to look at saving those teams, but you have to also look at the week in which those games are played is still another week. The Sunday games are still another week. And you don't want to end up taking a very good team. Okay, I'm speeding it up, Lawrence, as fast as I can. I am likely going with Denver Broncos. I like the Broncos in this spot. I like them to win the game. And they're only laying 3.5 points. But in Survivor, all they've got to do is win. You don't like Sean Payton? I do like Sean Payton, Lawrence. So with that said, that's likely where I'm going in the Survivor pool. The Circa pool, the Circa Millions, I win 4-1 and 3-2. So not the 5-0 I had last year, but I'm looking to one up that this week. But likely the Broncos in the Survivor pool.
Bold as shit, Carm. Kahunas at a maximum degree. Teddy, if you had to pick one team for Survivor, who would it be?
So that's not the right question to ask me because this would be my strategy for this week. There's 2 games that if you have an opinion on, I would use your opinion in those 2 games. The first is Colts Texans. The second is Bucks Bears. If you have an opinion that one of those 4 teams is going to win, a strong opinion, you can get a win out of them in week 2 without taking any team that you'll ever want to use again.
Well, I don't.
So that's part 1. If you don't, then the choice is pretty clear to me. I take Philly tonight.
Wow. Okay. There we go.
Maybe Detroit is the other team you guys didn't even mention. But I'd probably save Detroit for later.
Gotta save Detroit. Gotta save Philly too, but I do respect that. Great show. Carmine, what do you got to promote?
Yeah, so quickly, 21-1, my last 22 teasers. I don't have one up this weekend because I just don't think this is a card to have one on, but a 21-1 teaser run. So after last week's 5% winner, 5-2 last week in the NFL, including 4-0 on Sunday. Number one since week one last year when releasing a 4 or 5% play. 3 plays up for the weekend already. A 5% EPL game, 2-0 with those plays this year in the new season. And you can use code all30. All30 is going to get you $30 off a 7-day all-access package. And we have Champions League returning next week, so there is a ton of action for me. And I just want to close it off by saying, because I know it is the Jewish holiday this weekend, so I want to wish my one of my favorite Jewish friends a happy New Year. So Ariel
Teddy
Epstein, if you're watching, that's for you.
You're gonna wish Teddy a happy New Year?
Well,
you think I don't know where you're going here, Carm?
You're wishing Ariel Epstein a happy New Year.
Oh, Ariel
That's
Epstein.
going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of WagerTalk Today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games, and best of luck with all your wagers.
Carm, are you serious?